last question. I just want to explain that there were some questions that were addressed to just one person. I really tried to make it a broader question, and the questions that were, some questions I saw were kind of hit pieces, and I tried to make them a little bit more broad to apply to everyone. So, keeping that in mind, the last question is kind of a broad general question, and may include some items that will be included in your closing as well. But just if you can explain a little bit more why you're running for Congress, and if elected, what would be your top agenda item?
As I mentioned in my opening, I'm running for Congress to make sure that everyone in our community and in our country has the same opportunity to achieve success that I've been fortunate to have. To me, the most important issue to make that happen is education. I believe the federal government needs to begin treating education like a national security. Just in the same way in the 1950s, we saw road construction as a national security issue to make sure that we could get troops and material across the country in case of some kind of attack. I think now the federal government needs to pour new dollars into federal education programs and support specific changes. And the way it would work is much with the No Child Left Behind bill, which I think was good in conception but poor in execution. I think we need to have the federal government, states, local governments. We will give you more money to do certain things, but you have to make certain changes in your laws. For example, you have to allow for merit pay of teachers. You have to allow for longer school days and longer school years. We've just seen with LAUSD that the school year's been cut back. I think we should have more federal dollars to make sure that school years get lengthened.
There's some people in this room that I've known for more than 30 years. And frankly, I never imagined myself wanting to go to Washington, D.C. and run for Congress. I want to run for Congress because of this specific moment in history. With President Obama in the White House, with Democrats in control of both houses of Congress, there is an opportunity, I believe, to bring about some of the change that I have been fighting for the last 40 plus years. Reforming our criminal justice system, foster care, making sure that we take care of our children, improving education. One of the things that I learned very much from being in the state legislature is California is disproportionately funded by the federal government. So I have been on a hunt for the last 2 years for federal dollars for our state. I want an opportunity to continue that hunt. I know very specifically how and where California needs the dollars to go. I do have the relationships in Washington, D.C., especially over the last 2 years I've been able to build them. I was welcomed in D.C. by Speaker Pelosi, Feinstein, and Boxer. I want to continue that work by serving in Congress. Thank you.
Mr. Grant.
I'm running for Congress because I believe I can make a difference by improving the existing health care legislation with public option, but also because I have written legislation, no forensic evidence, no execution bill, which basically says that if you do not have any forensic evidence, you cannot execute. It's just that simple. Whether it's hair fibers, whether it's saliva, you must have something to show that you are part of that murder. If not, we cannot continue to incarcerate people and put them on death row for 20 or 30 years and then find out that they're not guilty. In addition to that, I want to bring legislation and ideas to how we can create jobs by taking that state lotto public education money to recreate manufacturing jobs that we lost through NAFTA and GATT. I believe that it's time for change, that it's time for us to rethink about how we should use our money. For over 25 years, we have been seeing how the schools have gone down. Let's stop letting that happen. It's time that we show what we can do locally and nationally with our money. Thank you.
And now it's time for our 1-minute closing, and we're going to go in the reverse order of the opening, which means that Ms. Bass will get to.
Well, I would like to ask the Culver City Democratic Club once again for your support of my candidacy. I would like to continue representing Culver City, but this time representing Culver City in Congress. I hope that in Washington, D.C., I would be able to do what I was able to do in Sacramento, which is open up the doors of the Capitol and welcome Culver City in. For over 40 years in my life, I've been a community activist. Most of the time, I have worked on the outside, right alongside Morris Griffin, who we call Big Money Griff. I've worked alongside of him on many different issues. And for the last 6 years, I've been an elected official, something I never thought that I would be. And it's really been a challenge in being an elected official, but I have to say that I was honored to serve, especially in a leadership position as Speaker of the House during the worst economic crisis. And although we had devastating cuts, one thing that I was able to do was to retain the vital services that, frankly, my Republican colleagues wanted to eliminate completely. I would like the opportunity to continue serving Culver City. I'd also like to mention that a couple of weeks ago, I'll stop. There you go.
Thank you. Yes, so 1 minute closing. And you all?
Thank you for the opportunity to address you tonight. I too am seeking your support for my campaign for Congress. The reality is that America and the 33rd District are facing crises, significant crises. The dropout rate in our local schools is 35%. It's 60% for African American and Latino children. If you look at the unemployment rate in the country is 10%. It's about 12% in the state. It's about 15% in LA County. And again, higher for African American and Latino young men. We need to do more to create jobs in our country. We need to do more to provide educational opportunities to the people in our country. And we're not doing it now. And the reality is that government at the state level, at the federal level, and at the local level has failed us. Now is a time when we can ask for change. Now, we all know that the election of 2008 was a very important election. But the reality is this election is even more important to the people of the 33rd District. Now we have a chance to create change here. But it will take doing things in a different way. It will take voting in a different direction, supporting someone new. I hope that I will have your support. Thank you.
Thank you.
I want to thank you all for this opportunity. It's time for change. And I believe that if not now, then when? I've done a great deal for our communities over the past 18 years, and I ask that you give me that opportunity to take that negotiating skills to Washington, D.C. The climate in Washington, D.C. is one that is of some serious racial tension. Send somebody back there with some backbone. Send somebody back there that's ready to take the helms and ready to move forward in a way that we've never seen before. Right now here in Culver City, we have over a $20 million shovel-ready projects ready to go for lighting, for transit systems. I want to be there ribbon cutting with us all here. It's time for change. And all I'm asking is that if you give me this opportunity, I will show you how we can be better off tomorrow than we are today, even when we talk about the convalescent homes. Here in Culver City, we've got to bring rovers into those as a result of the health care bill passing. Thank you all, and I hope you give me your endorsement. Thank you.